Coming up today on The Story.
I remember at the time we were believing for a way to go home because we hadn't seen our families in 2 years. And we went to our immigration lawyer and asked him, do we qualify for a green card? What do we need? And he said in the conversation, he's like, you know what? A Grammy nomination isn't enough. You actually have to win one.
The Story.
G'day, I'm Jimmy Colefax. Welcome to The Story. Well, today we have part 3 of our conversation with Grammy award-winning singer, songwriter and musician Mitch Wong. Last time we heard how the Lord opened doors for him to be able to move to Nashville, Tennessee and write Christian songs. Also, we heard how he met his wife Steph, who is also a singer. Today, we'll hear the story behind Mitch winning a Grammy Award and how it was an answer to prayer in more ways than one. Once again, Mitch Wong is chatting with Eric Scatterbo in our Melbourne studios.
So the story is Kyle Lee and Dwan Hill are producers and songwriters, and they were working on CeCe Winans' album. So they were doing it all. And they had 12 songs, I'm pretty sure. And technically they were just done. Like, we've got enough for an album. We can just, release it now if we want. But they felt, especially Kyle, he's like, I just feel like there's one more song for CeCe. And I remember the 3 of us getting together and we were praying about an idea. And Kyle was actually mowing his lawn. And he was going, we just need to,
Now, why were you in on this?
Well, we're friends.
Oh, okay.
So we'd written before. Mm-hmm. And that's the nature of Nashville, is when you're friends, you just go, well, how about we just set up this songwriting session with the 3 of us and we'll try and write a song.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, it's really...
That's how it works.
Yeah, very, pretty chill, collaborative.
Yeah.
And he was mowing his lawn and he said, we just have to believe for the right idea for CeCe. We just have to believe for it. And as soon as he said believe for it, it was like a light bulb went off. He's like, whoa, what if we wrote a song called Believe For It that encouraged Christians to remember the promises of Jesus and believe for them? We actually didn't write it in the same room. We wrote it over Google Docs.
Oh, okay.
Which I've never done before and never since.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. We were just, typing all these ideas into the Google Doc and we were calling each other to, have some melodies. Mm-hmm. But we write this song called Believe For It. We send it to CeCe and it really resonates with her and she adds a little bit on the end, which is, I think, the best bit of the song. But she ended up recording that song. And the most beautiful part of this story is that song for so many people has been like an anchor to them of faith. And I remember, I sent it to my pastor, Alex, when she had cancer. And she just needed songs that would encourage her, that would just remind her of the word, songs of just pure faith. And so that really, it was beautiful to hear how that encouraged her and so many others. And I remember at the time, we were, speaking of believing for it, we were believing for a way to go home because we hadn't seen our families in 2 years or more. And we went to our immigration lawyer and asked him, do we qualify for a green card? Because at that stage, we were on a visa called the O1, which is kind of a creative visa. But the green card, and if you don't know what that is, it's permanent residence in the States. And it just lets you go back and forth from the States to Australia. So we asked him, what do we need? And he was kind of taking a look through, I guess, my resume and songs that I've written. And because you need to show the government, does this person qualify? And he said in the conversation, he's like, you know what? A Grammy nomination isn't enough. You actually have to win one to show the government that you should be able to stay.
Wow. That's pretty steep.
I know. And the Grammy nominations hadn't even been announced. So it's not like we were, writing songs to do that. But we had already written Believe for it. Fast forward a few months, it gets nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah.
Then fast forward a few more months, and it wins the Grammy.
Wow.
For Best Christian Contemporary Song. And
wow.
Obviously, we were just so blown away and encouraged. It was a really beautiful way to be encouraged in that way. But when that happened, I looked to Steph, and we kind of have this moment of realizing this is actually a miraculous way that God is making for us to go home and see our family.
I mean, it's pretty cool in and of itself.
Yeah.
Winning
I mean,
a Grammy.
it is.
Yeah,
and it is beautiful. And I think I am so grateful for being Australian because we're so unassuming in general and very down to earth. And that's something that we've tried to preserve. But I remember having that moment with Steph of just realizing God is actually making a way for us to go home, to see our families.
I never thought of winning a Grammy as a way of getting a green card.
I know. Yeah. So we're so blessed in that way.
I've heard of people marrying somebody to get a green card or other things, but getting a Grammy,
there are movies about
definitely
that.
Unique.
Yeah. But so we applied maybe a month later and found out in 2 weeks that we'd been approved for the green card. So that was just...
Got the Grammy. You're good.
Yeah. And it was just a beautiful miracle for us. And it probably took, processing 5 months later for the green cards to come. And then we're in Melbourne now. So that's the first time in 3 years that we're able to see our family.
So why this is important for you is this allows you to go back and forth between Australia and the United States to do what you enjoy doing and what the Lord has led you to do.
Yeah, because once you apply for a green card, you are essentially stuck in the States until you get one. So when that finally came and we had it in our hands, that just means that we can travel back and forth. So it lasts for 10 years. So pretty much we're in the States for the next 10 years. But we have the freedom to go to Australia whenever we like.
Yep.
So it's been so beautiful to see family for the past 3 weeks and just catch up with them. I mean, there are nieces that we hadn't met and it's just been awesome. And I will say it's been a beautiful 3 weeks of eating food and drinking coffee because those are two things.
What did you miss the most?
Oh, mate, all the Malaysian food.
Oh, okay.
So
not a lot of Malaysian food in Nashville?
No, it's a desert, to put it lightly. Yeah. So
fried chicken, I'd imagine.
Yeah, there's plenty of fried chicken and fried food in general, but not much Malaysian. So it's been really good to do that and just see family, but also, just have some rest and just a time of blessing with family. And it's actually really cool because the album just released when I was in Melbourne and we were able to celebrate that together as a family. And it's been really cool.
So we've heard a lot of the highlights. You've had some challenges, but are there any other big challenges that you've gone through?
I think the biggest challenge for me in the area of songwriting and music has been that thing that we were talking about, because one of the red flags when I was preparing to move to Nashville, I know that Nashville can be, it's not always like this, but it can be machine-like in that sometimes you just, churn one song after the other, just like, let's try and get a hit.
Yeah, can it just become like a 9-to-5 job?
Yes. And
how do you keep it fresh and sincere?
Well, that's the challenge. And I think it's not a once-off decision because I've always had that conviction I need to protect the tenderness of writing, and I never want to write anything that doesn't mean anything to me or hasn't come from a genuine place of worship. So it's awesome to have you meet people who have done it for a long time and you glean off their wisdom. And one of them, a hero of mine, is Matt Redman. Just amazing songwriter, worship leader. And I've watched him and he's been this pillar in the community of just remaining humble and remaining...
The heart of worship?
Yes.
One of his classics.
Exactly. And it says everything that he lives by. So it's been cool to glean off these people, and I think it's just a constant heart check. It's a constant sifting of my motive, going, why am I doing this? That's been the biggest challenge because it is if you're not careful and if you don't keep on assessing your motive, you can fall into, I just want to be successful and I want to, achieve this. And you forget that it's
I got one Grammy, I can get two.
Yeah, well, it can become like that for some.
Yeah.
And I think that's not at least what I'm aiming for. I'm really aiming for people to encounter God and learn about him through songs and to bless God with songs. So if that stuff happens, it's great and we're grateful for it, but it's never the priority. And I think that's taken a lot of heart checks and it's taken a great wife. She's awesome.
That's good.
Yeah. So
she keeps you in check as far as your focus where it's supposed to be.
I've said to her,
aren't wives wonderful?
Oh, they're just the best. I've said to her, if I ever get a big head about anything, just slap me. And she's never had to do that, thank God. But it's good to have that.
But she would.
Yeah, she absolutely would.
That's the Grammy award-winning song Believe For It by CeCe Winans that was co-written by our guest today, Mitch Wong. We'll hear more of Mitch's life journey, including how he's now singing his own songs. That's all coming up when we return right here on The Story.
The Story.